Alrighty. Hello, everybody, and welcome back. So this is a chaotic double feature review. So the first movie we're going to review tonight is Hell of a Summer, Finn Wolfhard's hyper stylized teen slasher that plays like Fear Street meets Scary Movie. And the next one we're going to review tonight is The Monkey, Osgood Perkins' twisted, dark comedy based on a Stephen King short story. So do they actually work, and are they worth the rental price or better saved for streaming?
We're going to let you know.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
See you soon. All right, and welcome back to the Horror Comedy Hangout. My name's Chris, the independent filmmaker.
I'm Jess, the non-independent filmmaker.
Yes, that's right. None.
Non-independent. I don't know.
Non or none, both. But yes. So welcome back to another review. Actually, reviews. We have two reviews, and we're going to be reviewing, like at the top of the show, we're going to be reviewing Hell of a Summer and The Monkey. Really totally opposite films, although they have a couple things in common.
Just a few things.
They're both horror comedies, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah, sure.
And they're both from Neon films. So I guess that's why we're trying to relate them or whatever.
Yeah,
but,
I don't know. We just decided smash them together. Let's talk about them.
Right. How are you doing good?
Yeah, I'm doing good.
Okay. Is that sorry for the weird question, right?
I think I'm doing good. I don't know. Are you doing good?
Yeah. I'm not laughing when I say that. I'm thinking about it. I'm like, yeah, I think I'm doing okay.
I think we're good.
Okay. Yeah, we're good. So let's jump into Hell of a Summer. We don't want to hold you back on this a little bit.
No.
These both have been out a little bit, so they're not in the theater anymore. Once again, we're a little behind
the times.
But the next one coming up the next week or two is going to be Megan 2.0. So that will be a review that comes out when it's in the theater. So definitely stay tuned for that. And then after that, we have a interview with Barry Anderson, a great special effects artist that worked on Day of the Dead, Hairspray, and Jeepers Creepers. That was it.
Oh, and he was also in Miami Vice.
And he was in Miami Vice. So a really great interview.
He's amazing.
After that, too. Yeah, such an amazing guy. So stay tuned.
Barry.
Yep. Hey, Barry.
Very creepy. All right.
All right. So, like I said, into Hell of a Summer, this is about, this is the thing about this one is it's a teen slasher, like that horror.
Like 80s teen slasher.
Yeah, those 80 horror teen slashers that I loved back in the 80s.
You love those ones.
I did. So
how are you feeling about this one?
I was excited to see this come out. So I was like, this one's going to be just as good.
Yeah.
So, but we'll tell you later. So you have to stay tuned. You have to like and subscribe. Please comment and all that stuff. And keep watching. Please, please, please. So this one starts with this kid named, he's an adult. He's 24 years old.
He's kind of stuck.
His name is Jason. So that's kind of throwback to horror back in the 80s, right?
Yeah.
And he's a camp counselor, and he's a little out of touch with his coworkers. And of course, he is 24, and he's back for his 6th, 7th, or 8th time back at the camp. Which
is like a constant.
They're like, why do you keep going back to the camp? And he wants to be. He calls himself the camp leader, and they're like, that's not a real thing.
Not a real thing.
Yeah, but he's like that boy that never grew up, right? He just wants to.
Just likes to live in the nostalgia.
His mother wants him to, finish school, go to college, and do all that.
Get a real job.
Get a real job. And he's like, well, I got plenty of time. Why not just do that? And they pay me.
This is a real job.
It was funny in the beginning because they were like, hey, you pay me. She's like, $100 is not $100 a week is not a real job. And he's like, well, they bumped me up to $115. It's just like, still not a real job. So that these camp counselors all show up the day before the camp opens to get it all ready. It's the typical tropey. So that day before, they start getting everything going, and then what comes around that night? The killer starts killing off the camp counselors before the opening. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so that's really the premise. It's pretty straightforward, typical premise. Not much really crazy about it. A little bit. So I know you're asking yourself, who's in this?
Yeah.
Were you asking that?
I was in the back of my head. I wasn't saying it out loud though.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you were.
Yeah.
So the other thing that another reason I wanted to watch this too is because this is written and directed by Finn Wolfhard and Billy Burke. Now, I didn't really know much about Billy Burke, but I knew Finn Wolfhard from Stranger Things, Ghostbusters, a couple of the Ghostbusters recently, Stranger Things, obviously, Saturday Night, the movie that was just recently out, and It, Chapter 1 and 2. Yeah, so he has done a lot of horror stuff, and I've liked his stuff. So I was like, oh, I'd like to see what he does on the behind the camera kind of thing.
Yeah. And then Billy Burke was also Saturday Night Live. He was done Ghostbusters, Afterlife. So, you know, they've obviously worked together before, but this is super exciting that they came together to do this film.
They did. And then Adam Pauly from Fubar, which is a great show on Netflix that just dropped the second season. So I'm excited to see that. Hopefully it's as good as the first one. And then Sonic the Hedgehog. And then Fred Hessinger. He was in the Fear Street series. If you are on Netflix and watch that some of those are good. They just released a new one a couple of weeks ago, but that wasn't as good as the last 3 before that. So unfortunately, but he was in that, Craven the Hunter and Nickel Boys. Yes. So what did you like anything about this movie?
Yeah, I like some things about this movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. I liked, I thought the characters all played their parts very well because it is that kind of campy, tropey movie. And I liked the fact that we did mention like they annoyed us, like they did their job. They
definitely did a good job of annoying us. And obviously it's the updated version of the Gen Z kind of characters. And I know Finn and Billy wanted to do that. They wanted to do a more recent current slasher film. So that's where this came from.
Yeah.
And I mean, obviously this was their attempt at the film. This is their first feature for both of them as writer-directors of it. So I think it kind of kept that 80s vibe.
It did a little.
Yeah. And you know, obviously, like I said, it's their first film. So they're going to obviously grow as writer and directors. It's still something.
Hey, I've never made a film, so, you know, look good to me.
Yeah.
But I think that was my only good.
Yeah. But did you like Jason's character at all?
I did.
A little bit?
Yeah. I mean, I think I liked his character probably the best because he's kind of like the little boy that didn't grow up. And then you kind of see him slowly evolve a little bit in the movie. And it's kind of got a nice little love story thrown in there.
He does evolve a little bit. He does.
So,
you have to step up when the killer is after you.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Unless there's a chainsaw involved, and then we know how I feel about those. I would just
watch last episode.
I'd just be dead.
Yeah.
But no, I liked his character. I liked everybody's characters, but that's all I got.
You know, I was rooting for him at times because you do definitely feel bad for him. I don't know.
Yeah, you do.
I don't know if you feel bad enough. Maybe you just want him killed off. You stop.
No, I didn't want him killed off.
But yeah. And there was a couple of girls that were smart. They had some smart moves throughout the movie, and I think that went well. Well, one of the big things for me, at least, was this was advertised as a super horror. Yeah, it's horror comedy, but like the next gore and kill kind of thing, and that was not much. That was not as much. A lot of the kills were off camera. There was a couple good ones.
Yeah, I would definitely say
it started out good because it was
it kind of punched right into it.
It did. It was the camp counselor, like the adults they were supposed to meet. All the kids were supposed to meet the next day, and the 2 adults get killed the night before the day they show up.
Yeah,
and there was one good kill in that, but it's off screen. You come back to it afterwards, and you don't see it actually happening. So for people out there that love the gory super horror, you're not getting that as much. This definitely feels like it was, written as a comedy and then through horror around it. It wasn't intertwined as much.
Yeah,
as you would hope it would be.
Yeah,
and
agreed.
It's more of a coming of age kind of story, which isn't bad. I mean, it's still got those elements of coming of age, which are good and fun to watch. I think if you go into this movie thinking that way and understanding that it's a coming of age comedy with horror elements, I think you'll be pleasantly surprised. I don't think there's anything wrong with it coming in that way. I think if you come into it if you're coming into it back from the 80s horror or any other, you're thinking slasher, you're going to get some
not
stuff.
a big slasher.
No. So I think for that reason, it's taken a hit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I definitely didn't hit the mark for sure. Because for me, it was like, and I know we also talked about this, the previews to the movie did not meet up with the movie. So that's where we kind of were like, had a big disappointment there as well. But
yeah.
And then I have more bad.
And then the motivation of the killer at the end, I just, you said that you figured it out further.
Yeah. Within like the first...
Quite a while. You're pretty early on.
Yeah. I think within the first 20 minutes after the first or couple kills, I was like, wait a minute. And all of a sudden I figured out exactly what was going on and who... I can spoil it. Who the killers were.
Let's not say who they were, but...
No, I'm not going to say who they were. But it definitely, I had it figured out pretty quickly. So I was like, oh. Because normally if I'm going to sit down and watch a horror slasher movie, I want the suspense to leave me guessing of like, wait, could this be the killer? Maybe that's the killer. And then when I figured it out that quickly, I was like, oh.
Right.
Okay, I guess I'll finish it. This was not, I was kind of bored with this movie.
Yeah. No, I know you were kind of frustrated with it.
Yeah.
I wasn't as upset about the reveal as you were.
I was mad.
Because you figured that out earlier on.
Yeah.
I was just more upset about the motivation. I've talked about this before in other reviews, that the motivations, you're like, feel like you get to the end and you're like, oh, well, this was the motivation and it's good enough. We're at the end of the script. And
guy gets done. The girl. Roll credits.
And that kind of frustrated me for a little at the end for that. So I was still entertained throughout most of it.
Yeah, you were. I wasn't. I was like, okay, keep it moving here, people.
But I listened to an interview from Finn and Billy, and like I said, they wanted to represent their generation. They said it was more, about that coming of age kind of thing, and they'd always wanted to make a slasher, so I think they probably just combined that together into that kind of thing. Yeah. So, like I said at the top of the show, this was their first feature length together. So.
And it was shot in 19 days, which is impressive.
It was shot in 19 days.
Mm-hmm.
Again, we're celebrating, this channel likes to celebrate the indie horror in the indie horror comedy.
Yes, we
And
do.
this is definitely an indie horror, low budget, and you have to shoot it fast in 19 days.
It's fast.
It's 2 weeks. It's fast, but that's what the budget allows, and that's what the budget allows. So you can't do anything. I think they worked well directing. They said they worked well. They've been friends, and it's difficult. I know with working on films, if you're the director and you're star in front of it, it's very difficult to run back and forth. So they talked about that a little bit, of having to do their scene, run back and check the monitor, and then make sure it all worked out.
It's a good workout program.
So what would you give this rating? So like horror comedies have been super big this year.
Yeah, there's so many.
Roll.
And I'm super excited because we get to sit here and review them all. But for this one, I'm on a 2.5.
2.5. Okay.
Yeah.
I'll give it a 3.
Oh, okay.
Because I watched it again.
That's
2.5. 2.5 the first time, 3 the second time, because I knew what it was going into it. I think if you know what it is going into it, and that's what the main takeaway from this review is if you know it's more of a comedy, coming of age with some horror in it, then I think you'll be fine with it.
It's a good gateway horror comedy movie.
It's definitely gateway horror. Absolutely. Like I keep saying,
gateway movie.
It has that little murder mystery at the end too, not at the end, but who done it? You figured it out.
Yeah, I figured it out quickly.
So 2.5 for me, 3 for me, 2.5 for you.
Yeah.
And that's our review of
Hell of a Summer.
All right, and then we're going to go on to the monkey, because it makes so much sense to go from Hell of a Summer to the monkey, right?
Yeah, why not? This is like, they're both made from neon. That's why it makes sense.
And they're both horror comedies.
Yeah.
And they're horror comedies in 2 different ways. Right?
Yes.
So different ways.
Very different ways. This is just a creepy monkey.
Yeah, well, it's a creepy monkey. So a little bit about the monkey.
The monkey.
The monkey. Right?
The monkey.
The monkey. So Hal and his brother come across this monkey, and they think it's a toy, but it's not really a toy.
In a hat box.
In a hot box.
Hot
box. Hat box. It's in a hot hat box. That's right, right?
Okay.
Yes.
In a closet.
In a closet, which might have been hot too. So they come across this
pretty Tiffany blue hat
box. That's hot. And there's a monkey in there. And you turn the key on the monkey on his back. He puts his arm up, starts spinning his drumstick, and then he beats the drum, and then he kills somebody.
Oh.
Not random.
All right. Well, that's the end of the review then. There we go.
So somebody tragically dies. It's
quickly.
very random. Somebody close around them.
Mm-hmm.
And it's very Final Destination kill.
Yes.
It goes along those lines. So if you like Final Destination,
Yeah.
So it starts out with these kids. They find this. They try to get rid of it.
Multiple times.
Few people die. We jump forward to when they're adults. We pick up Hal.
I work at a grocery store.
Grocery store, or drug
convenience store. You don't really know. I think it's a grocery store.
So we pick up, and it starts really. It's really from his POV, from that point forward, of him trying to navigate as the adult, and the monkey comes back. He has an estranged son that he meets once a year, which is very strange. Weird. It was very strange when they were like once a year, and I'm like, if I was writing that, when I said once a year, it's just very weird. But
it's so strange.
I mean, you get why, because he's trying to keep the monkey safe away from the monkey that might come back, that actually does come back because we're watching the movie. So he has to come back, right?
Yeah. And the whole twisted thing is so this character is played by Theo James, he's absolutely amazing. Yep. And
what else did he do? What did he do?
He plays his twin brother as adults. So he plays Hal, and he plays, what's his twin brother's name?
I don't know.
Oh, crud. Anyway.
What else has Theo James done?
Oh, he has done The Gentleman, which is Guy Ritchie's new show out right now, which I think is coming back for season 2, which is amazing if you guys haven't seen that. And then he has also done the Divergent series, and I know he's done many more other films, but those are the two that really come to mind.
Yeah, he's done quite a bit.
But
and then who else is in it?
Oh, Tatiana
Maslany.
Gosh, don't make me say these names. Because I'm going to butcher them.
You let me say them, then I'll say them.
Don't ask
Tatiana Maslany.
Oh, Adam Scott. That's an easy one.
Adam Scott and Elijah Wood have a very small part in it. And then Christian Convery. He plays the kid in that as well. And this film, let's not get ahead, is by Osgood Perkins. So Osgood Perkins did Longlegs last year, which was a standout film. Some people liked it, some people didn't, but I think it got a lot of buzz because of
I think Nicolas
Cage's character, which
was amazing.
I thought he did good in it.
I did too.
So some people thought it was a little over the top, but that's the way it was supposed to be. Mm-hmm. So he is the son of Anthony Perkins from Psycho. Well, now he's a film director and writer. So this
runs in the family.
It does run in the family, and like I said, this is a Stephen King short that he took and wrote as a script.
Yeah,
and then directed it.
Yeah, but Theo James. So basically, Theo James is like the main character for himself, and he plays his twin brother, and his twin brother basically resurrects this monkey and finds the monkey, and basically has this whole plot and scheme planned out. And
are you going to give away the whole movie?
No,
I didn't think so. It's so, and
fine.
Scheme and plot. ... Yeah. So did you like anything in this film?
I did. Mm-hmm. I liked the kills much better in this film.
Yeah, I got you on the kills now.
Yeah. Listen, I like a good kill on film. But yeah, I think
let's make sure we say that, right?
Make sure we say that. But no, I thought the kills were very, very different, very unique. They weren't your average, shoot 'em, cut 'em, slasher up movies. It was just, I think they were very well thought out, and I think they were very well executed.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, I think that's where the comedy comes in on it too, because these are very crazy, over the top
kills,
people exploding, kind of thing. Like I said, very Final Destination. So I think
I like that it leads up to what's going to happen to the person.
Right. And then, so I think those kills are the comedy in the film. So you got to kind of lean into that a little bit and be like, oh, that's some of the funny part of it. You're like, oh my God, that really happened kind of thing.
I think the best one though, and I won't give the whole thing away, but it was the electrocution. That's all I'm going to say. Because you and I were both like, whoa.
Well, that's the other thing that's a good point actually you bring up, is that these kills have
electrifying.
Well, they are electrifying, but they lead up to things. It's like it's a setup
series. Yeah, a setup.
It's a setup. It's not just like, bam, you're dead. It's like, it's the very final destination where you're like, you see something, you're like, oh my God, they're going to happen. They're going to step on that thing.
You get the little warnings and then it's like,
and then it happens and you're like, that really did happen. So the kills were very much like that. Yeah. So that I think the camera work was really done. It gave you that creepy, gritty feeling. It was lit very well. It's very, to me, I when I mentioned while we were watching, I'm like, oh, it's very stylized.
Oh yeah. You kept saying that.
It was very stylized. You go off on these little trippy things and come back. The cuts, the editing was very stylized as well. You would have something, all of a sudden it would cut to the next scene. Yeah. You would jump ahead really fast to the next scene. Sometimes that worked for the comedy as well. You'd get these cuts and it would jump forward and it'd be like, oh, and then it'd be like, that's where they added the comedy into it as well. Shorter film, just like the other one we just viewed, an hour and a half. Yeah. So again,
but the hour and a half kept moving.
I appreciate.
Yeah, I appreciate
a short film like that, if we call it short like that. But these days, some of these films get
3 hours.
2 or 3 hours. So yeah. So what do you think? That was some of the good things, because I feel like, the acting, like you said, with Theo James was very good, and he played two characters.
Yeah.
And the camera work was done well.
Camera work, the lighting.
So what were some of the things you didn't like about the movie?
I did not like the opening scene.
Nobody's watching. Tell me.
Yeah, just don't watch this part.
They're listening.
No,
that's why they're listening.
So Adam Scott played the opening scene. It wasn't bad, but I think when you watch the whole movie, for me, I was like, what was the point of this opening scene? Because to me, it left me guessing. So that I definitely did not like. I did not like, we did not get any of the monkey's origin story, how he was created, why he was created, why he kills people, why he chooses the people that he decides to kill. It was just random and weird at times. And the monkey just creeped me out too.
Which is good.
Yeah.
Now for me,
it is actually a good thing. So that's not a bad for me.
No.
And then I think the one other thing that irritated me is because it was supposed to be kind of a horror comedy, I barely laughed. Like things I think that were meant to be funny, I was just like, what?
Well,
it felt so flat for me in some areas.
Okay. I found the kills, the creative kills, the funny part of it. Because that's that kind of laugh. You're like, oh God, that really happened that way.
Yeah, I get that. They're comical kills.
Yeah, that's what I thought for me. I get the monkey. I would love to know more of the backstory of how where the monkey came from.
Because to me, he looks like he came out of a Tiffany's box.
Well, yeah, I mean, he's supposed to look very
creepy.
No, well, I mean, yes, because you're creepy because you're watching a horror movie, but he looks innocent, and that's why the kids start liking him. But then he's really bad. The beginning scene, some people have said maybe that was his dad trying to sell it to the get rid of it at the pawn store, but I thought it was. I like a good hook in the beginning of a movie, so that was a really good hook for me to set the whole thing up. This is what's going to happen, and it's not going to be good. This is what happens when the monkey. This is what the monkey does. Yeah. So that was that. For me, Theo and his son I didn't feel the chemistry with that as much. Yes, I get it. They're kind of estranged and they don't see each other much, but I just don't. I didn't see the actor chemistry.
It wasn't as believable.
It didn't. I didn't believe it. I didn't believe it
either.
It was just very awkward, and I get it. Yeah. You should be awkward, but you can play awkward in a better way.
Yeah, I agree.
The early part of the film really worked well. You got the kills, the comedy, and then it kind of got weird at the end. It got the film's message kind of got lost. It almost just was like a different film at the end. It kind of switched for a little bit. It got a little cartoony-ish at the end with the brother. He's the other brother is the bad guy and his reason for being a bad guy, and all
it's just cheesy.
It became, yeah.
It became
I
cheesy.
say cartoonish, you say cheesy. I think we're on the same track with that one.
Right there.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I just felt like they didn't land the plane at the end with the comedy, the horror, and everything at the end of it.
Yeah, and I definitely feel like, I think we talked about this too. I know we talked about this, was like the characters never really evolved from childhood to adulthood. Yes. So it was like they stayed in that constant, bad boy, and the other twin was like the kind of wimpy kid who never really stood up for himself or stood up to his brother. I mean, you saw a little bit of it in the end, but it was never like, let me just punch the lights out of him and call it a day. I think you wanted that. Like, the movie almost called for that. You just wanted that twin to they knock him out. And it was just, there was no
character arc throughout the movie. They kind of stayed the same way.
Yeah, there was no progression.
And I get it. There are films that have no character arc. Mm-hmm. James Bond has no character arc. He's the same guy at the beginning of the film as the end of the film. Yeah. Still works, right? So,
okay.
But in this film, you wanted, because it's such an emotional, they grow, you watch them as kids and then you go through adulthood and they've had this traumatic experiences. You want them to evolve. And they don't really evolve as much. So,
no. Yeah. Not really. Oh, you know what I was going to mention too that aggravated me? Is that dang creepy monkey would just randomly pop up in different places.
I don't understand.
Oh. What do you mean? Watching the same movie I was?
Yeah, no, I don't understand what you're trying to say.
They would put him somewhere and then all of a sudden he popped back up.
Well, I think that...
Well, maybe that's just...
I think that goes back to the editing. It was quick cuts and they would jump around a lot with that.
It was like the squirrel in Ice Age just randomly show up. Except the squirrel was cute and not creepy and not a killer squirrel.
So a couple things about this. Osgood Perkins, was originally going with, we said at the top of the show that this is a neon film, but he was originally going with a large studio, and the large studio did a test, and the large studio tested differently, and he's like, nope, I don't, this is not the film I want to make. So he ended up with neon. So that was really good. Again, like I said, I've said before, this is, we try to celebrate indie horror and indie horror comedy. And then I love that he did that. He said, nope, I want to go.
He went with his passion about what the movie was supposed to be.
Absolutely. He didn't buckle for the studio saying, no, this is what the audience wants. And then go that way. He's like, no, I'm going my own way. And then Neon's like, sure, we'll go with that. So I like that part of it a lot. He related it to, in his mind, when he was doing it, or writing it, he was thinking of Gremlins meets Death Becomes Her, which is a very strange combination.
Okay.
But to me, I get it somewhat. Gremlins is the monkey, a little weird thing. Gremlins can be creepy. And then Death Becomes Her is absurd comedy about people dying and coming back to life kind of thing. But none of these people came back to life in this one. But
no.
So, yeah.
There was no chance of them coming back to life.
Nope.
None.
All right. So what do you rate it?
I'm going to go with a 3.
Okay.
Are you shocked by that?
No, I think I am shocked by that a little bit. I think
I gave it a 3 because the kills are better in this one. It's unique kills.
What did I give it on the last? What did I give Hell of Summer?
3.
All right, I'm giving this 3.5 because I think this one's a little better.
Come on. Why do you got to keep up staging my stars here?
Just because the kills are better a little bit. And it's dark and more grittier.
We will talk about this later.
Yes, we will. All right. So that is the review of The Monkey. And then prior to that, if you skipped way too far ahead, was Hell of a Summer. All right. So Hell of a Summer, would you pay to rent it or would you wait till it comes out on streaming?
No, I'm all about the free right now.
So free.
Free on that one. Totally.
Free for that.
Yeah.
I think I'll pay because I know what it is. If you know what it is, watch this review like you did. It's worth it to pay to watch it for that comedy coming of age with horror. If you're that kind of person,
if you're gateway horror,
then pay for it. If not, wait till it's free. Definitely.
Free.
All right. And how about The Monkey? Would you pay for it on streaming or would you pay for it on rental or would you pay for it or just wait for it to be free on streaming?
Okay. I think for this one, I could go either way. If I'm looking for something different, I'm going to pay for it.
Okay.
But I'm not going to pay $19.99 for it.
No, wait till it's cheaper.
Yeah, wait till it's cheaper.
Wait till
it's definitely not one of those movies you need to rush and pay the right off the streaming service fee. No, or if you're just not totally sure, then just wait for it for free. But I think for me, I would pay for it.
I would pay for it too, but not at the
top $20 price.
No, absolutely not. So
$5.99.
$5.99. Yeah. So. All right.
Alrighty.
All right. So that's a review of Hell of a Summer and The Monkey. Thank you for joining us on the Horror Comedy Hangout podcast. Please like and subscribe. I love all your likes and all your subscribes. It helps out the channel, helps us out.
And comment because Chris does. Going. Comment back.
Comment because it keeps us going.
Yeah, really we do this all for y'all. So
and obviously on YouTube, if you're watching on YouTube, if not on any audio streaming platform, you can listen to it on the way to work or going to get the groceries.
Or in the gym.
Or the gym.
Yeah.
That's right too. I listen to it at the gym.
Yeah.
And then next review coming up in a couple weeks is Megan 2.0. That will be out very soon after it releases or just before. And then we, like I said, I have Barry Anderson. We have Barry Anderson. He's a special effects artist. He's
amazing.
We're doing an interview with him. He was on Day of the Dead, Hairspray, Jeepers Creepers, and he was an actor on Miami Vice. So stay tuned for those, and we'll see you soon.
Bye.